Hi Tarot friends, this is Ultraviolet Morgan, and I'm going to do a flip through of the Muse Tarot. Yeah, I've been away for a little while, and I did film a flip through of this deck. And then I shuffled it, and I forgot what I was going to say. Drew some cards, but when I filmed it, I was falling asleep, and I haven't looked through it yet, but I may at some time decide to post it for giggles, because I'm falling asleep over and over, and I'm saying a lot of nonsensy things, so yeah, so now I decided that I'm just going to go ahead and do a flip through of the deck. This is the box that comes in. It's a nice box, and the cards are not going to be in order, so I'm just going to look through them out of order, which I've done a couple flip throughs like that with decks that I bought secondhand that I was doing my first look, so I didn't want to go through and reorganize them. And I think, to me, it's kind of interesting when you look at them out of order, you sometimes get slightly different impressions. So I think it's kind of cool to go through them that way once in a while. In the background, I don't know, it might be kind of loud. It's probably going to be a little bit of a distracting video. I'm watching Supernatural, which also is part of the reason for my absence. I've basically become obsessed with Supernatural ever since the ending. The ending hit me really hard. So the ending hit me really hard for a number of reasons. I have done a post. I wasn't happy with the ending. I was not happy with the final episode as an episode, or with how the story played out for the boys. And also, there was, okay, spoiler alert if you don't know, and I don't know how anyone could have missed this, but I wasn't really a huge Destiel shipper, which is Dean and Castiel. I did see some videos of theirs. They were cute and everything, but I always thought it would be subtext, and I was fine with that. It was all well and good. It was never going to be canon. Fine. So then the third to the last episode comes out, and Destiel, everyone is like exploding because Destiel is canon. But then there was a whole controversy of if Destiel... Firstly, Destiel is canon, but they used the bury your gaze trope. Then it was Destiel's not even canon. Destiel's not canon because it's not returned, it's one-sided. Then Destiel wasn't canon because it could be interpreted in different ways. Blah, blah, blah. So there was a lot of kerfluffle about that, and then it was, man, some people are just like, I just want to see the Muse Tarot, and you want to talk about this show. Sorry, guys. You can skip ahead if you want to, but the tarot, so, I don't know, that was kind of like a minor thing or whatever. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. But, I mean, when I saw it, it was clear to me it's canon now. And it was weird because I never thought that it would be, and I wasn't hoping for it to be. But then I kind of started to look into some things, and I really started to see some things in hindsight that my total view of the show has changed so much in the past couple of weeks. And then when the finale came, the next two episodes completely ignored the huge pivotal moment of the entire season. And it wasn't just because I was a Destiel shipper, because I had never been, but it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel right for the story. It was so strange, and I didn't know much about the fandom at the time either. But I knew that once I saw the finale, I felt so cheated out of a good show. I felt cheated out of... I didn't feel cheated out of the ending I wanted, because I didn't even expect a happy ending. But I felt cheated out of an ending that answered the things that were brought up right before it, and they weren't. So I started going to these groups, and, I'm like, the ending was horrible, and these are all the reasons why. And there were so much sort of hostility towards people saying they didn't like the ending, and people who did like the ending, and I didn't understand how they liked the ending. It was boring. I mean, it just didn't have a plot. Nothing happened. It was this happened, then this happened, then this happened, but there was no, like, narrative, actual plot. Anyway, I'm getting off. So this is my obsession, so probably forever after you're going to hear a lot about it. So then it occurred to me, how about, joining some of the groups for, the people who like that pairing. Because there were definitely accusations that it was just that people didn't get their pairing or whatever, and was the only reason they didn't like it, when there were so many reasons not to like it. But also, I think it's valid, not that they get together, but that there's some sort of resolution to this huge thing that you've brought up in the 11th hour, and then you ignore it. So apparently a lot of the fan base really wants to be able to ignore it, and are really hostile towards Destiel, even though it's basically canon, but they refuse to see it as canon. So anyway, I joined the Destiel groups, where people were mostly pretty upset, and some of them were upset because they didn't end up together. Some of them, just... Mostly, though, they were just upset by all the endings for everyone, and that nobody deserved, everyone deserved better, the fans deserved better, the characters all deserved better than what they got, both as an episode and as an ending to their story. So anyway, point being, that's where I've been, guys. So I got kind of sucked into this whole thing, and all of this sort of on my own research into some of the blogs about the various ships, and about Dean being like queer coded or being bisexual, whether or not his bisexuality is canon, etc., etc. And it's been keeping me pretty busy. So now we're at the 8-point mark, and this is the Muse Tarot. And so, yeah, I just can't get enough of this show. So here's the Fool. And then here's the back. The backs, these are really, really pretty and just gorgeous. Coloring and everything. And then, see if I can just adjust a little. They're good and thick. They're nice, thick cards. I mean, you can see how thick they are. So here we have the Fool, and she's kind of running and jumping, and it's kind of like the edge of the earth even. There's sort of this galactic thing going on here, and this, what do you want to call that? A ladder. And here we do have the infinity sign, I think, although it looks like 2 zeros. I guess it's just 2 zeros. I don't know. That's really hard for me to tell. That's the Fool. Okay. Now we're going to start to get out of order. 7 of Materials, which is the physical. So it's Pentacles. It's, makes me think of Fried Green Tomatoes, where Evelyn, I think. Maybe, no, not Evelyn. The old lady has all of the flowers taped up on her wall to, you know. That's what it reminded me of. 4 of Inspiration. So inspiration is wands. This is the 4 of wands. It's a pretty clear representation of that. It's really... Now what we see is 4 women who are meditating and sitting in a circle. And usually I see the 4 of wands as being sort of a celebration as well as the beginning of a success. You've got that sort of foundation of happiness. So I guess this is more of a foundation of I was going to say groundedness, but that doesn't seem right exactly. A foundation of spirituality, of inspiration. This is a little bit different from how I normally would think of the 4 of Wands. Now we've got so many cards are just crazy things happening. Here's the 5 of Inspiration. So I'm wondering if all the inspiration cards have this sort of peachy coloring. I guess we'll see about that. So the 5 of Pentacles, which is normally kind of being outside of the church and being... Ooh! Whoa. You picked these strangers, whoopsie. So is normally like the card of poverty. But this one's a little different, and I'm not exactly sure what is happening here. Oops. I'm probably going to start a series about Supernatural. Here is the Ace of Emotions. That's really beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. I don't think I might not go into as much depth as I normally do in these cards today. So here we have the Muse of Inspiration, and it's sideways. And I don't know if I love it. I don't think I do love it, but I'm okay. You know, it'll be alright. The Muse cards, I think, are all sort of mirrored like that. And then you have this one person who is off-center, and then this thing over here is kind of off-center too. So it's not just... At first it might look like it's just one picture copied twice, but it's not. There's clearly a reason for the symmetry and the asymmetry taking place. So that's the Muse of Inspirations. Here's the Queen of Inspiration. And now I'm looking at what we have for all the inspiration cards. This one doesn't really have the peachy color. The first 2 did. This one doesn't exactly, but I don't know. There's kind of this pinkish sand, so I don't know. I think that we are seeing similar colors being used for the suit of inspiration. Here's the Knight of Inspiration, and of course, and we are seeing warm tones, fiery tones, I suppose, and as the wands represent fire. Oops. Page of Inspiration. Okay, so this here I've established all of these golds and yellows and peaches, and here we have a bright pink, which kind of just is so different. And here we have this woman. She's got a black cat, and she's got hair just of multicolors. Actually, this is a really fascinating card. I'm going to probably set it aside just so I can maybe do a meditation on that today or something. Here's the 10 of inspiration, and again with the red sand, the warmth. So the 10 of wands is the kind of idea of being overburdened, but I mean, I feel like it's doing something a little bit new, a little bit of a new take on that same concept. Maybe I'll set that one aside too. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, now I knew when I looked down that that was 9 of inspiration because of the peachy color. So yeah, there's definitely that color thing going through. What? I mean, am I actually... Okay. I don't know. I really thought that I had these out of order. I'm so confused on whether they're in order or out of order. Here's the 8 of inspiration, so we're moving forward.
Hi, Taylor. How was your weekend?
And the 7 of inspiration.
You didn't go to the rodeo? That's my spot. Sorry.
6 of inspiration. These are well worth, spending time with. 6 of voices. It's weird. Okay, so they're slut coughing the girl on the show now. That's just really something.